I don't know if you know this, but Mary has a bubble. I always ask permission before I touch Mary. Like right now, I'm like just pretending to poke the bubble. I'm not touching Mary, and I can see that her nostrils
We're more
are
than
flary.
an arm's length away, and I am still uncomfortable with you trying to touch my arm.
Her nostrils are flaring at me.
Hello, and welcome to the Homestay Kitchen with me, Mary Chan, and Erin Eastman. This is a podcast where we serve up stories of being a homestay family, the ups and downs of making a connection with international homestay students. We'll bring a plate full of stories, ideas, interviews, and hopefully dish up some anecdotes to share with our community. In this episode, I interview Erin. We talk about how we first met, reminiscing about her own high school experience of being a homestay sister, and we dissect a long day in her family's crazy life to reveal how her students are the best part of her day. Hi, Erin.
Hi, Mary.
How are you?
I'm well.
Are you ready to be, I don't know what the word is, bombarded by questions?
It makes me a little nervous. I'm not going to lie. There's not like that little butterfly, Yeah. Did you watch Lemony Snicket, A Series of Unfortunate Events?
I don't.
Okay. Well, I have binge watched this with my son.
Okay.
And there is an episode where a guy actually eats live butterflies. And I kind of have that feeling right now.
Oh.
They do come out of his mouth, I think. But yeah.
I
just have to keep
lovely.
reminding myself that you're a friend.
We're just having a conversation.
I keep telling myself that.
Okay. First question for
Oh God,
you.
here it comes. Yep.
It's not really a question.
Okay.
I think we should talk about how we met.
Oh, yeah. We should. We met when we worked together in radio.
Yeah, when I moved to town
Yeah.
in 2003.
Oh my God, we've known each other for 15 years.
Oh, wow, you did the math quickly on that.
I know. It's because right now I'm doing a lot of math with my children as part of their homework.
That
and
makes sense then because I couldn't do that.
Yeah, that's like 15 is a good number.
Yeah.
That's a long time. We have known each other a whole teenager, like a whole high school student.
When you put it in that
A
terms,
grade 10
oh
student.
Gosh, that's a long time.
Yes.
So you were in the promotions department,
I
giving
was.
away free things to listeners.
In
That's cute.
2003, what contest were we running?
I don't know. We're probably giving away trips to Mexico still or something,
Yeah,
right?
I think 2006, I did go to Mexico. So yeah, we were.
Mm-hmm. And I was the producer. I made commercials.
You did.
And I sometimes made you go behind the microphone and read scripts too.
And here we are.
And here we are, exactly.
Doing it again. Well, that's kind of fun. That's really fun. In 2003, so yeah.
It's been a long time.
It has been a long time.
And then you finally decided to host students only recently.
Yep, within, the last year and a bit.
So why did you decide that now was finally the right time?
That is a very good question. And the reason is that my husband and I have 3 small children. We moved. We're within the same community, the same school.
Yep.
We were renting a house, and it wasn't the best fit in the house for us. The landlords didn't like to do anything for upkeep, and we're the type of people that love keeping a house nice.
We have standards, is what you were saying. Because I remember that other place. It wasn't horrible, but
when the pipes were bursting, we're like, oh, I think that the crawl space sounds like there's a pipe leaking, and they were like, oh, I don't know, and we're like, well, we think that we should check on that. Oh, I don't know. It wasn't until the water bill came months later. Oh, the pipes are leaking. We're like, yeah, we mentioned that. So stuff like that.
So then you moved.
So then we moved.
You were like, you're done.
Yeah. But what happened is that the house across the street from my mother, where I grew up, became available, and the new owners and they were like, oh no, we have to move, and we're like, we want to rent your house. So that became available. She said, well, have you thought of having students, because it's a much bigger home, and we really wanted to move there. And she said, and I said, well, you know what? I used to have a homestay sister. I had a sister that we went to high school with the whole 3 years, Harumi and I, and such wonderful memories with Harumi.
Yep, I remember those stories, which we'll get to in a bit.
Yeah. And I loved that experience and wanted that for my kids. And it was a much bigger home. And so I wanted to fill those rooms for my children too, but to make it work as well. My landlord had such wonderful things to say, and I remembered that. We looked at different programs, but ultimately chose to go with high school students and haven't looked back because it's been amazing and lovely. Yeah, we love having high school students with our young children as well because there's less turnover and we bond so quickly. And then
it works very well for your family.
It's like I get emotional when they go back for visits with their family. I'm like, no, you have to come back. I'm crying at the airport when I drop them off, and I'm crying at the airport when I pick them up. Yeah, so yeah, they come back, and the goodbyes are hard for the kids too. But
do you remember feeling that, like when you were in high school? Did your homestay sister go home during the break at all? Do you remember that?
I don't think she ever went home. No, because she was scared that she wouldn't be allowed to come back. No, she never. I don't think she ever went home those 3 years.
So she was in Canada for 3 years straight?
I want to say that she was, yeah.
Okay, so what was she like?
Harumi?
Yeah, what was it like living with essentially a stranger?
Oh, but she wasn't a stranger to me. No.
Okay.
It was like living with a sister. She and I had a little tiny wing of the house, right? So, off of the living room. And so there was a door to our hallway. And she had one bedroom and I had another, and we shared a bathroom. And my room was off of the kitchen and got quite warm. And her room was the colder of the two. And we fought over the thermostat.
One was always too cold.
One was always too
warm.
cold, and one was always, yeah, exactly. So for Remy and I, we fought over the thermostat. She said I can't even tell you some of the, I was expecting this meek and quiet Japanese student, and she opened my eyes to some highly
things that you wouldn't share with your mom.
Inappropriate things. I can't even tell you. And some of the things that I know about some of the boys that went to my high school that I cannot even repeat. Oh my God, Harumi. And here I am, just this, I'm going to use the word prudish in comparison.
Wait, and this is the experience you want for your own kids now?
Heck no. But when you're talking about a sisterly relationship,
yes.
That's what I had with Harumi. Yeah. But she's lovely and sweet, and she loved Celine Dion.
Oh gosh.
She loved the soundtrack
90s, right?
to the Titanic.
Oh yeah.
She loved makeup, and she would give me makeovers. We really bonded, and shopping, and I honestly swear that I don't know Japanese. But listening to her talk to her friends, I would know the subject matter that they were talking about.
Oh.
I'd be like, Rumi, which boy are you talking about?
You just knew.
I just knew, but I also think I do get psychic powers about people that I really care about. And she would be like, oh, yeah. Yeah, and preparing food and stuff together. But we were really close. And also, we each had our own friend groups and stuff like that. But we were the same age, and we did grade 11 and grade 12, and then we went on to Camosun together, and then her dad said she had to come home. And this was before Facebook and internet, and I have tried so hard to find her, and I'm sure she's married or changed her last name. And I even went down to the restaurant where her friend, I think Uriko was her name, and because I tried calling Japan to talk to her father, and her father speaks no English and I speak no Japanese, and he had no way of getting
a middleman.
I got Uriko as a middleman, and we determined that he had no idea where she was. So they didn't really get along, her and her father. So I think they had a falling out. So Harumi, if you're listening, call me. But yeah, our number's the same. But yeah, no, I just desperately love her and wish that we were able to keep in touch. But that's what I love today about social media and things like that. Even with students that have come and gone, we're still able to keep in touch with them.
You're kind of still in their lives, even
right?
though they're not here anymore.
I know.
Yeah. So now today, with all your kids and stuff, what is your daily routine like on a school day with your family?
Are you kidding me? Okay, yeah.
Oh, you know what? Let's just break it down first.
Okay.
There's you. Your family is you, your husband, your 3 young kids, 10 and under.
10 and under. Mm-hmm.
And 2 high school students.
Yeah.
this sounds chaotic to me.
Uh-huh.
So tell me about a day in your life on a school day.
On a school day. What day do you want? Like, does it matter what day? Do you want me to just pick a day of activities?
Oh my gosh.
Because they're all different.
Every day is different?
Every day is different. Which activity day do you want? Do you want my most hated day or my most...
Oh, let's go with most hated day.
Really?
Yeah.
Ice skating day?
Okay.
Okay.
So?
It's a Wednesday.
It's a Wednesday.
It's a Wednesday.
What time do you wake up?
I wake up at 7 o'clock. But, you know, like, if I really am tired from watching New Girl the night before... This is my binge watching right now on Netflix is New Girl because I don't know about you, but like by the time those kids finally go to bed, you just need a couple of hours to yourself. And that involves New Girl.
Okay. I love that show. I watched the whole thing already, so.
Yeah. The half hour though gets me because it's so funny. You're like, oh no, it's just a half hour.
Watch another half hour.
And then like 2 o'clock in the morning and you're like, oh
Erin.
my God. Yeah, I know. But okay, so New Girl, 7 o'clock. And then what happens is, yes, the children wake up and my 2 girls share a room, right? And so that's bunk bed situation. And the one on the top, well, she's 7 and she'll wake up no problem. And the one on the bottom, you have to like pry her out of her pajamas and help her get dressed right away because you're trying to trick her into getting ready.
Oh gosh.
And
I have that with my kid.
She's preschool age. She's 4. And you're just like, okay, well, we're just gonna wake you up. It's like waking up a little bear and just rolling her into her clothes while the one on top just does everything for herself. And she's wonderful and can get ready on her own and just do it all.
That's good.
Yeah. She's like, you know, little mini me. Mm-hmm. And so you're waking up and rolling the little bear into her clothing and you're trying to do that before, 7:30 while you're hollering at the 10-year-old boy to get ready and you're threatening him kind of like, if you don't get ready, you're going to have to do your own lunch and your own breakfast. And I'm not going to do this for you. And oh my God, wake up. It's time to go. Like all of these types of noises are going on in the morning because my husband is already at work in Duncan. He makes the drive to Malahide. He's never there for these things. He has no idea. And he's been working a lot of overtime lately. He just doesn't know how it goes.
So where are your students?
They're getting ready. They're downstairs. They're amazing. They cook for themselves.
Oh, you don't even have to deal with them.
They're so good. They breakfast themselves. Yeah, they're really independent. I have really good independent students who are wonderful. Yes.
So essentially, your most hated day
are my children. No, they're not. I don't hate my children. I hate doing everything for my as any other person. Yes, Mary, I see what you're getting at. My students are not the hardest part of my morning. Yes, I hear what you're laying out for everybody. Students are not hard. High school, long-term students are not hard. They're wonderful. I see what you're doing here. Yes, okay? Yes, I get my 3 kids to school and I do their lunches and all of that. Yeah, no, my students are wonderful. Yeah, they get out, they get their breakfast, their lunches together, they get to the bus, they're out the door by 8 o'clock. One of them has a spare right now. So like it used to be if I didn't see them in the morning, be like, oh my God, are you late? Are you sick? Do you need me to wake you up or write a note to your attendants and something like that at the school? And now I don't worry because they have a spare right now.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, school. Okay, get them to school, the kids. And one of my children is like paranoid if she is not parked at the school before the crossing guard is there, that she might be late. The crossing guard before the crossing guard starts the shift. So that happens at school, okay? And the drop off, and then you wait around half an hour before the preschool starts, and so you're waiting in the rain or whatever. And then the school, and that's 9 o'clock. And then everything magically settles for an hour and a bit. Because yes, Mary, as you alluded to my Starbucks addiction, that is when I go for my me time.
Yes, and you need that.
And I need that, and that's my breakfast. And I go, Mary, I know you're going to laugh at me. I go to the Starbucks and I meet my friends, and they are all in their 70s. And I sit down and I get my Starbucks and I play crib with a bunch of really great friends. There are
Just happen to be
3
70-year-old men.
3 retired men in their 70s, and I've been playing crib with them for 4 years. And they are like really great friends, and we have been playing, and we have been keeping statistics on our game. We play with jokers. Lately, for the last 2 to 3 weeks, unbeknownst to me, we've been playing with 4 extra 5s in the hands, and I've been getting a lot of 28s, which I'm really excited about. I know.
I don't know how crib works, but I can tell you're really excited about it.
I'm really excited about my 28s. But they're a really good group of friends, and one of them's a pilot, and one of them's a retired federal park ranger, and one of them's a retired engineer whose wife knits and hands down a bunch of like,
Ooh.
I know, right? Yes. She gives me a bunch of really amazing yarn.
Ooh.
Yeah, and not just like one-offs, but like
a whole bag full
of knit picks, all in like the same color. I know, the same colorways. Like she buys stuff for her granddaughter. She's knit me beautiful sweaters for the girls and matching with her husband.
Oh my gosh, we're really on a side thing here, but I love that.
Anyway, what I'm getting at is I have built a really great community of people. On Father's Day, we get together and we took over the Starbucks and with our crib playing. Yes, so like. Anyway, wherever I go, I just build these little communities. 4 years, the same place. You go there 9 o'clock. They can expect to see you. I go out back to the school and I, just. You're looking at me like this is taking forever. I go back to the school and
I really meant. I was just asking, how was your most hated day in terms of like your students? But okay, keep going, Erin.
Okay, I'll wrap it up. And then I go.
You are very heated about your most hated day. I did go that way. I did ask you about that.
You did ask. And then
so it is my fault.
It's just endless. And then you're like, we're only at noon, Erin. We're not. And then I go back to
Erin,
school. And then I look after the kids and I don't yell at them. I'm a very kind supervisor and pick up the kids. And then we go to skating where it's 3 kids of on and off skates, on and off the ice. And then dinner if Blake gets back on time. But the students are the most wonderful part, Mary. You're asking if my students are part of the hated day, and the answer is they're not, because around the dinner table, and then they tell me about their schoolwork and about if a boy looked at them and smiled, or
they're 16, right? The students that you have?
They're turning 17 this week.
Oh, yeah.
They're turning 17, and they have such great friends, and they are 3 days apart in age. They have shared interests. They are so involved with our kids.
So they are the Erin and Harumi of today.
That's exactly it. And they are so well matched. Like our coordinator and placing students in our home really, really looks at our interests of our family and of our kids and of our students and each other. And we have had such success with students being placed in our home. So if you're asking about the hated day, it has nothing to do with my students is what I'm getting to. My students are my best part about my day.
That's
always.
What I was going to say.
They're always the best part of my day. And when they went home during the summer, such sadness, right? When they're not there. Oh,
Mary. Erin's tearing up now. I made her cry on the podcast.
You're making me cry. No.
Okay,
but they really do complete our family.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's so nice.
Yeah, they really do.
Okay. Then can I might make you cry some more.
No.
Drink your Starbucks. Okay, good. What about before your first student arrived? Was there any anxiety in the house, especially with your kids, about strangers living with them?
No. So this is like before we ever had a student?
Well, when you're thinking about having a student and you're telling them there's going to be these people living here.
I think there's like that. Not like Christmas anxiety, but like that nervous, like first day of school anxiety, maybe, like, will we like them? Like,
yep.
Yeah. And with that student, the person, because she came from a different family who wasn't having her back.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And their reasons were interesting. Like, it was a summer placement. She had been to school in Langford, and she was coming for a downtown program, and we live closer to downtown. But she was going to go back to school in Langford, and they weren't going to have her back. She was going to go to a different house in Langford. And the reasoning that they didn't want her back was they didn't really feel a connection with her. And I can understand from them, like, maybe why they made that choice for their family, because everybody does something.
Every family is going to be different.
I'm not saying anything about like their choices.
Yeah.
So having heard that and talking to this person on the phone, I was a little nervous, like, oh goodness, what are we getting ourselves? It's our first student. What are we getting ourselves into? And when we went to pick her up from the house, I was like, oh, she was super, super upset to say goodbye to this family. She was just like sobbing to say goodbye to this family. She had made a connection where they hadn't. And oh dear. Like,
what do you do?
What are we doing? So we took her for ice cream.
Nice.
Before we even made it home, we just took her for ice cream because I think,
when you're upset like
when you're
that.
upset, like we drove a long way. It was Langford. We drove a long way, gave her some time. It turned out that the problems that homestay family had seen was just really just a nervousness to speak English. It wasn't that she wasn't lovely or wanting to connect. It was just she wasn't confident in her English.
And that's usually what I see with short-term students that I have. They really like living where they are, but they just can't express it because they don't have the words.
Yes. And so, she was braiding our girl's hair. She was snuggling with them on the couch. Anytime that there was something to do, she was never in her room. She was wanting to do her homework out at the table, which we loved because then we could see her. Mm-hmm. Watching Disney movies with the girls was her favorite thing to do. So when we came home that night after ice cream, we watched a Disney movie together. And it was wonderful. And we ended up getting a second student that summer. And that student wanted more to be in her room. And it was because like her activities during the day, it was more like a summer camp thing. Like they were out canoeing. They were out doing all of these exhausting things during the day.
She just needed time to herself.
She needed time to herself. But this other girl brought her out. She's like, oh, we're going to go play badminton in the backyard. Come do it with us. And I'm like, you can't just hide out in your room, please. Come on.
That's so nice to have another student do that.
So it did kind of draw her out more, which was wonderful too. And our little kids were really helpful with that too, because they'd be like, hello, come play with us.
We like to play. Please come.
Yeah.
I like to play.
Pay attention to me.
So now that you have all these people in your house, how do you manage to feed your family of 5 and 2 students?
Grocery shopping happens a lot. Yes. Well, luckily, my husband does work in Duncan. This is luckily
like a 45-minute drive.
But Costco's on the way home.
Oh, there you go.
So the good news is that I don't go to Costco anymore, which means I no longer shop in the middle. Right? When I go to Costco, there's a lot of shopping in the middle, which is like oops, I went to Costco. Oh dear, that was expensive. He doesn't pay attention to the middle. Yeah, he's in,
like on the list.
He gets out and he gets what he wants and he shops from the list. Our Japanese student enjoys going grocery shopping, but I only offer like, hey, I'm going, do you want to come? And lots of times they can't, but they've been in our house long enough to know what it is that they want.
Yeah, that's true.
Like I know what they want. When students first come, I say, write down what you don't like. And if they don't,
write down what you don't like. That is such a good idea.
Or write down what you do like. If there's fruits that you want to see, and I do it more than once, right? Like
usually I just ask them. And I think that's where my downfall is, especially with short-term students.
Yeah.
They can't speak English so well, but they can write well.
Yeah. There you go. Well,
good tip. Anyway, move on.
But I'll also take them grocery shopping the first time. But there's always like nervousness of like, oh, can I ask? Can't I not ask? Right. So we'll go a few times and they'll have been in our house and see what we have. And then I also say, write down what you don't like, write down what you want to see more of. And we'll get into a swing of things and I'll see what gets eaten and what doesn't get eaten. So and then these girls have been with us. Like one of them's been with us. This is our second year. Mm-hmm. But I do know what they like and they don't like. And I'll buy favorites or if I see things on sale or whatnot. But I do most of the grocery shopping. But when I'm doing all our wrangling, like I've got all the kids.
Yep.
I get the kids, Mary. I get the kids in the morning and I get the kids all after school. And then he gets home. And whether or not, I finally made him get a cell phone. He used to be, he didn't have a cell phone.
It's okay, John doesn't have a cell phone either.
So he can text and I can track him as he's coming home. Hey, the tracking, he'll find my friends. So that, because he does do the Malahat and that was the worry,
That's
right,
like
for
the
me.
big highway.
Yeah. If he needs to stop at a grocery store, he can ask and I can say, yeah, we do need stuff for dinner. So between the two of us, we can make sure we have food that night.
That's important.
That's important. But when it comes to cooking, He is the master of putting something on the table that's nutritious and delicious in like 20 to 30 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. And that everybody likes. Everybody likes it. Me? I can make food that takes an hour to 2 hours.
And then you have screaming hungry children.
That 70% of the people will like and will have tons of leftovers and freezer meals. I'm talking scalloped potatoes, lasagnas, like
lasagna.
I love making lasagna. I love making like 2 to 3 lasagnas.
2 to 3.
If you're going to make one, why not make 3? It's a lot of work.
Pans.
I have a lot of pans. I love making, I made scalloped potatoes last week for my mom's 65th birthday. Mm-hmm. I did 5 pounds of potatoes. That was like 4 pans of scalloped potatoes.
Wow. You do need to go to Costco. I think I've only stepped foot in a Costco once in my life.
But, made asparagus crisp. Have you ever heard of it's my mom's concoction. But basically you take asparagus and then a cream sauce with chips, potato chips, crushed potato chips and cheese. It is my Japanese student's favorite recipe. I've since taught her to make it. She went back to Japan and she made it for her mom because
oh my gosh, that's so awesome.
Her mom was scared of asparagus.
Afraid of asparagus?
Yes, she thought, I guess in Japan it's white asparagus that they have. So I taught her to make it with green because white asparagus, I can't say it without laughing, is like dead man's fingers. So,
that's the translation?
No, that's what she thought she was eating.
Yeah.
She made green asparagus crisp for her mom and her mom loved it. So yeah, anyway, but we do in half an hour, he can make something that everybody will like. And so, but when we're so busy with all of these children's activities like skating and tutoring and brownies and swim club and cross country, like today I have a cross country meet after school. So not me, one of my children, but I talk like it's me. I know, talk about living through your kids, but volunteering and all of that. Thrifty Foods does amazing shepherd's pies and like those tortilla pies and the salad in the bags. Mm-hmm. Some nights, like in baseball season in our house, when he was playing, my husband was playing and coaching 2 teams, our kids' teams. Oh my God, baseball season, don't even get me started.
Yeah, that was a little crazy.
Sometimes we had to do that. But we made sure everybody had dinner.
So it sounds like you've got a good rhythm going.
Yeah.
But being still relatively new to hosting students.
Yeah.
What has been your biggest takeaway so far?
Our biggest takeaway?
Yeah, that you've learned from hosting students.
From hosting students? Well, we just love doing it. Like our biggest takeaway, dinner time at our house is our favorite. We love sitting around the table and
sharing stories
about our day. And ever tell you about the time where Violet brought her pee to the table?
What?
Oh my God, that was funny.
Do you want to share about the time that your daughter brought the pee to the table?
Dinner time is my biggest challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah, with 3 children and like you're trying to get through a polite, like I'm trying to teach manners at the dinner table.
Kids. Yeah.
Like manners are so important to us and polite behavior.
Yeah, especially you've got these students in the house now.
Yeah, and trying to teach like our students like, okay, when you go to people's families and behavior. And my 7-year-old is so dramatic. Like fall out of her chair at the dinner table. Most nights, dramatic. Okay.
Oh no. Like, oh my gosh. And they're like flinging her arms.
Well, yeah, there is that. Or like if somebody's talking, like raising her hand out, call on me, dramatic. Yeah. Or like, never mind that my 10-year-old son is trying to play footsies with me across the table. Or like there's just like this somebody is always acting up and we're just trying to get through a meal without somebody getting up to get something or like, without my one daughter falling off of her chair or my like youngest, like trying to get her to the table at this point because she's going to preschool and she's so tired by the end of the night, just trying to get her to the table without a tantrum. Mm-hmm. And our students have homework.
They would like to just eat and do their homework.
They would like to eat and do their homework, but we would like to find, this is our time with the family. And we love to go around the table and ask everyone about their day and find out.
It's hard to get to that point when nobody's sitting down.
And everyone's eating their dinner. And like sometimes like the funniest things happen at the dinner table. And this is our favorite time. And sometimes, like, you know, you judge the mood. And if you need to lighten it up, like one thing we do once a week, maybe, we go around the dinner table and everybody tries to raise an eyebrow. Mm-hmm. The students do it. Everybody, my husband can do it. No problem. And so we've been together 20 years. For at least 17 of them, I've been practicing how to raise one eyebrow. And I can do it now.
It took you 17 years to figure it out.
I know. I can do it. I practice when I'm brushing my teeth. So sometimes I just need like a toothbrush in my mouth. So when I have a fork or something, it's a really good time. My youngest can do it. My oldest, he just got it like this week. And like what he'll do is he just like smushes his eyebrows together. But they love it when I do commentary for him, like when he's doing it. And I'll be like, hey, pretty lady. Or like just like make appropriate voices for him. When a Thai student was there and my youngest was going through potty training at the time. And she'd be like, oh my God, I have to go pee. She always says it in a Robert Munch voice because we put stories on for her at night.
Oh, okay.
And there's a story that Robert Munch reads, I have to go pee. So she says this at the dinner table. And like just the funniest things happen. And so then we're like, okay, just go. But she was like, oh, do you guys want to see? Do you want to see? And we're like, no, we really don't want to see. We're eating. And so then all of a sudden she comes and she's brought her potty full of pee to show everybody at the dinner table. Yay, thank you. And you're like, oh, yay for you. But like really just the weirdest things happen. You're just like, I'm so sorry, girls, that you have to see this. This doesn't happen at most Canadian homes.
This is not your typical Canadian experience.
It really isn't. People should not be falling out of their chairs or bringing you pee. So I have to say, like, yeah, the most funniest and joyous times the dinner table, but also it can just be the most challenging, you know what I mean? Like, or also like, just like, no, we should not be licking our knives. And that includes the students too. Like we don't eat off of our knives, you know what I mean? Yeah.
I'm working with that on the 3-year-old too.
Yeah. Eat with your fork.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So you asked me this, so I'm just going to ask you this to wrap her up.
Oh.
Do you have a motto that you live by?
Oh, patience in a cup. Just drink the chai.
Okay, take your sip. Thanks, Erin. Drink.
Last sip, Mary. It lasted the whole interview.
Thanks for listening to The Homestay Kitchen, hosted by Mary Chan and Erin Eastman. Produced by me, Mary Chan of Organized Sound Productions. Web and show notes by Erin Eastman. Like what you're hearing? Write us a review wherever you listen. Or drop us an email at homestaykitchen@gmail.com. We would really appreciate it. For more information on this episode, visit homestaykitchen.com. And when you're ready to dish up your stories, connect with us on Instagram at Homestay Kitchen or on Facebook. Thanks for joining us.